The TF2 soldier is in my game as a playable character. He has some weapons he's not technically supposed to have, and I may have had to chop his arms off at one point to get him in the game. By the end of the video, I'll tell you how to play as him for free, but before I get to how the soldier is in my game, let me at least try to explain why I added him in the first place. See, when I was a kid, all the games I loved had cheat codes in them, and now all the games I love have cheaters in them. It's a cruel joke, and I wanted my game to take people back to the time when you could just boot up a game, sit down, and press random buttons until you accidentally turn yourself into Garfield. Now, my game is all about rocket jumps and grappling hooks, so maybe Garfield wouldn't be the most appropriate playable character to add, but you know who would be appropriate? No. Maybe. Yes, Team Fortress 2's Soldier. What a surprise. Even people who don't play TF2 know that the soldier gets around. Like, gets around the map using his rocket jumps because it's like a mobility. TF2 is one of the main games that got me interested in game development back in the day, so it only seems fitting to pay homage to it in my own game via a special cheat code. I do want to add many more cheat codes to the game soon, so feel free to comment anything you think might be cool, and I may just add it to Thunder Jumper in a later video. Alright, so now you know why I made a terrible decision that might get me sued by Valve, but now I should probably explain how I did it. How does one go about bringing a character from a 3D source game into a 2D Unity game? They're entirely different game engines, so it wasn't exactly as simple as just dragging and dropping soldier.exe from one folder to another. I had to use a third-party application, a middleman if you will, called Blender. I'm sure you've heard of it, it's a way to make 3D models and animations and stuff. If I could just get Soldier into Blender, then I could easily get him into Unity. And thus, the riddle became, how do I get the models and animations from a source game into Blender? Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't actually fucking know, because my friend Hisanimations had to do it for me. Now, unlike me, who pretends to be smart on the internet to get people to like him, this guy actually is pretty smart, and he created a method for gorilla-brained idiots like myself to get Valve assets into Blender. He has all these, like, Dexter's Lab type contraptions and shit he built himself that are just publicly available for free for anyone to use. Sucker. He does have an open donations page, so if you happen to be watching this video while sitting on top of a giant pile of cash like Scrooge McDuck, consider giving him a visit because this whole thing would not have been possible without him. Anyways, once the soldier is in Blender, it is a simple process to get that puppy into Unity. Because I rendered the soldier's animations as images instead of importing his actual model into Unity, the soldier you see when you play Thunder Jumper is a fraud. He might look 3D, but he's more two-dimensional than half the characters in your favorite Wattpad Sonic the Hedgehog fanfiction. But during the game, you'll never actually notice because of the camera angle. And if you think I'm the only one pulling off some kind of magician stunt like this, think again, sheeple. Most of your favorite games that look 3D but play in a 2D space with a constant camera angle actually use 2D sprites instead of 3D models, cause it's just way easier on your computer to load a bunch of pre-rendered images rather than having to calculate all the lights and shadows and whatnot every frame. It's just one more thing that the government is hiding from you. Now, you may have noticed while watching this footage that our soldier can walk around and move his arms independently. It may not seem weird because it's something we do in real life all the time, but sadly for Genshin Impact fans, video games aren't real life. See, the version of Soldier in Thunder Jumper doesn't have a skeleton. In a game like TF2, the soldier is a 3D model with an actual digital skeleton inside of him with each bone connected to specific vertices on the model itself. This foot bone, for example, is only connected to the foot vertices. Moving the foot bone moves the vertices. So if all the leg bones are set to the walk animation, his upper body is still free to shoot his rocket launcher, or look around, or read Wattpad Sonic the Hedgehog fanfictions, or whatever. But 2D images, like the ones our soldier uses in Thunder Jumper, don't have skeletons, which sadly for Soldier meant I had to record his arms separately by severing them from his body. Which means I am literally chopping off Soldier's arms with a blender. I don't fuck around. Maybe think about that the next time you call me a washed up YouTuber in a CSGO lobby. Anyways, because of this violent procedure, the Thunder Jumper soldier looks like one sprite but is actually made of two. The body, which walks and jumps, and the arms, which look around and shoot. If you play around with the soldier in-game, you may notice that at certain angles it does kind of look like he's breaking his arms, but I've already ripped his arms off once, so his health really is not my main priority here. Once I finished all that, replacing the rockets and sound effects was actually a pretty simple process, but I quickly came onto another weirder problem. In normal Thunder Jumper, the player can press shift to turn into a thunderbolt and slam on the ground at lightning speed. It's a pretty useful tool, especially for speedrunning, because it essentially lets you teleport vertically. Now, aesthetically, the character itself is supposed to be a mix between Chibi Robo and Static Shock, so it kinda makes sense that they can turn into lightning, at least in my mind. Well, you know, now that I'm saying it out loud, it doesn't really make much sense, but letting Soldier turn into a Thunderbolt would make even less sense, so I gave him the Force of Nature Scattergun instead, which gives him a knockback boost just like in TF2. You can use it to speed up, slow down, change directions, or whatever, all depending on how you aim your shot. Now I know what you might be thinking, in the TF2 universe, Soldier can't actually use the Force of Nature because it's Scout's weapon. And you're right, but this is the Thunderjumper universe, and in the Thunderjumper universe, Scout is in prison for aggravated loitering, so all his weapons are up for grabs. And it's a good thing too, because this feature is actually pretty fun if I do say so myself. It totally changes how many of the levels are played, opening up new routes that were previously impossible. So there it is, Soldier is a playable character in my game. Now, I can't put the Soldier version on Steam because that is what we in the business like to call illegal. But if you download the version that's on this website, itch.io, then you can type the word Soldier into your keyboard while on the main menu to unlock him. And I honestly don't know which character is more fun to play as, so I'd love to hear what you guys think.